The image of a submarine cruising through the ocean is both an impressive and intimidating one. Hidden below the waves, the idea that it could strike from nowhere at any moment has made it a formidable part of any naval operation. Not to mention the highly pressurized atmosphere inside the sub itself. But which are the most effective? Here are 10 of the deadliest submarines in the world today. 1. Seawolf Class. The American Seawolf class was brought in toward the end of the Cold War in 1989. While it became less relevant when that long conflict ended, it's still a powerful opponent. There have been 3 types of Seawolf. The original was commissioned in 1997. The Connecticut came the following year, and finally the Jimmy Carter arrived in 2004. At 107.6 meters in length and a width or beam of 12.9 meters, it accommodates a crew of 116. The sub can go as deep as 610 meters. Its weaponry is not visible from the outside. However, inside are Tomahawk missiles in both land attack and anti-ship versions with an optional nuclear warhead. A Seawolf also contains Harpoon anti-ship missiles. To give you an idea of the sub's force, a Tomahawk land attack missile travels at 2,500 kilometers at subsonic speed. The Jimmy Carter was a modified version of previous models, with features such as a wasp waist, an ocean interface that allows you to recover payloads without relying on the torpedo tubes. It's an innovative and also awe-inspiring submarine. 2. Grainy-class Yasin. This nuclear-powered Russian sub began construction in 2003, but didn't reach the ocean till 2011 due to funding problems. The first model was named Severodvinsk, translating as Northern Dvina Town, Dvina meaning river. The Kazan followed later in the Grainy class. The sub is 111 meters long and 12 meters wide. You can fit a crew of 50 in there. Because it uses what's known as a spherical sonar system, which is a larger system than most, its torpedo tubes are at an angle to compensate. These launch the VA-111 Shkval torpedo that's 8.2 meters in length and has a range of up to 13 kilometers. Missiles include the P-800 Onyx that can travel at 2,000 knots or 2,301 miles per hour, with a range of between 120 and 300 kilometers. The sub also has some interesting names when it comes to its sensors. For example, its sonar suite has a low-frequency flank array called a mouse roar, though we're sure it does more than squeak when fired. 3. Virginia Class. The Virginia Class is an American attack submarine which has been in existence since the year 2000. Like the Seawolf, its purpose is to replace the old Los Angeles class and provide up-to-date naval technology and firepower. It's propelled by a nuclear reactor and is 115 meters long, 10 meters wide, with a crew of 132. When submerged, a submarine displaces an incredible amount of water. The Virginia class displaces an astonishing 7,800 tons when diving down and moves at a speed of over 25 knots or 28 miles per hour plus. A noticeable thing about the design of the Virginia class concerns their staple image of submarines, the periscope. The sub is fitted instead with photonics masks that use infrared digital cameras. As a result of this, the control room is lowered down and has a lot more space to plan attacks better and smarter. It packs a punch in terms of weaponry, carrying Tomahawk missiles and Mk-48 ADCAP torpedoes. 4. Astute Class. The Astute class is a nuclear-powered British Royal Navy sub that has a distinguished background. Rolls-Royce doesn't only make luxury cars, they also supplied the water reactor. Replacing the Trafalgar Batch 1 class and reflecting its predecessor in terms of design, the Astute is 97 meters long with a beam of 10.4 meters. A crew of 110 are responsible for its safe passage. The first model, HMS Astute, was followed by Ambush and Artful. The names sum up the Astute class's reliance on power but also stealth, perfect for a submarine. There are actually 7 in the class, with the rest being Audacious, Anson, Agamemnon, and finally Ajax. The sub took 6 years to build and was launched in 2007. The Astutes are equipped with Tomahawk missiles and also Spearfish torpedoes and mines. This type of torpedo has what's called a directed energy warhead, meaning they neutralize targets electronically rather than blowing them up the old-fashioned way. 5. Typhoon-class Shark. The Shark, or as it's known, Akula or Typhoon class, passed into legend when it was used as the basis for the Russian sub in Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October in 1984. This devastating weapon could have given America a real headache. The Cold War Russians wanted to do everything bigger and better than their rivals, So the Shark became the largest ever nuclear-powered submarine. They were 172 meters long and had an unusually broad beam of 22 meters to pack in all the hardware. What was so unusual about the Shark was its outward appearance. The silo field was positioned in front of the sail, making it different to other subs. The craft was specifically designed to travel in icy conditions, as the Soviets wanted it based in the safe zone of the northern Arctic Circle. It fired a then-new sort of nuke called the R-39 Riff, or as NATO referred to it, the Sturgeon. It had a stunning range of 8,296.96 kilometers, meaning it didn't have to try very hard to inflict a catastrophic blow against the United States. 6. Los Angeles Class. The Los Angeles Class submarine is seen nowadays as a thing of the past. However, that doesn't mean it isn't a design classic, or that it doesn't still make an imposing sub to go up against. They were the toast of the American fleet during the Cold War, with an impressive 62 built for service between the 1970s and 1990s. Los Angeles subs were 110 meters long and designed for top speeds of 37 knots or 42 miles per hour. While the recommended diving depth is 198 meters, it is capable of going as deep as around 457 meters. Taking a lead from the Russian Typhoon or Shark class, the subs were reinforced to cope with ice in case of any close Soviet engagement. In the later stages of production, the Los Angeleses were capable of launching up to 20 Tomahawk missiles. It was used extensively for intelligence gathering, watching the coastlines of its enemies. This move was prompted by wars being fought away from the water, giving the sub a new lease of life. 7. Sierra II Class Condor. NATO dubbed it Sierra II, but the Soviets referred to this attack sub as Project 945A Condor. 111 meters long and only 11.5 meters wide, it wasn't the biggest submarine on the block, but it was still very deadly. Entering service in 1990, it could hold 61 men and protected them with an expansive titanium hull that greatly increased its diving capacity. The Condor could reach a maximum depth of between 520 and 750 meters. They were also quieter than most, which reduced levels of radiated noise. Radiated noise is similar to ambient noise, and a larger amount of space between the sub's hulls cut down on it being detected this way. As for arms, it was packing not only Starfish and Stallion anti-sub missiles, but Samson cruise missiles and 42 mines. The effort and expense needed to build these stealthy war vessels meant that numbers weren't that high. However, they remained powerful opponents to encounter in combat. 8. Soryu Class. Here's the first Japanese entry on our countdown. The Soryu is powered by diesel electronic propulsion. In other words, a diesel-engined generator plus electrical current provides the power behind this formidable sub. The first of the Soryu class took 4 years to build and was commissioned in 2009. Soryu was the name of an aircraft carrier that took part in the famous attack against Pearl Harbor. It's 84 meters long with a beam of 9.1 meters. The sub has a range of 11,297 kilometers and moves at a rate of 20 knots underwater, or 23 miles per hour. There are currently 10 other vessels that have been completed with more to follow. The latest model is the Oryu, launched in 2018. The Soryu class has what's described as a hydrodynamic design, producing great water displacement, 4,200 tons, but at the same time reducing external and internal sound waves through its steel hull. The hull has an anechoic, or echo-resistant coating. As well as Harpoon brand anti-ship missiles, it carries a wire-guided torpedo called Type 89, bearing a warhead of 267 kilograms. The Soryu combines both efficiency and aggression. 9. Oscar II Class Anti. For the Soviets, this nuclear-powered cruise missile sub was referred to as Project 949A Anti. The West called it by a less formal title, Oscar II Class. They are well regarded, but financing issues led to only around half being finished. Entering service in 1986, they were designed to fight the Cold War with stealth and firepower. A big difference between the Oscar II and its predecessor Oscar I is the hull. The newer sub's hull is longer by 10 meters. Some think this was to reduce the noise made during propulsion. It also boasted a bigger fin, which enabled it to move around more effectively in the depths. The Anti is 154 meters long and 18.2 meters wide. Up until 2002, it was seen as the largest attack submarine on the planet. It's able to withstand a maximum diving depth of 830 meters. It carries 24 P-700 Granite cruise missiles with a range of 550 kilometers. In previous decades, it would have been fitted with a 1,000-kilogram nuclear warhead, but since the signing of START, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, in 1991, it now contains high explosive. One of the most tragic cases in the submarine history involved an Oscar-class craft, namely the Kursk. In 2000, the sub was sunk and the Russian government were heavily criticized for their slow and incompetent response. It reportedly took the president, who was on holiday at the time, 5 days to give the go-ahead to a British-Norwegian rescue attempt. A movie about the tragedy titled Kursk, starring Colin Firth, was released in 2018. 10. Ohio-class. The American Ohio-class sub was first seen in 1981 and is powered by a nuclear reactor. The subs have been given the name Tridents. They have a length of 171 meters and a beam of 10 meters, taking a crew of 155. The hull is described as being fish-shaped, which gives it greater speed and stealth. The maximum speed for the Ohio-class underwater is 25 knots, or 29 miles per hour. The maximum depth reached is over 244 meters, and if you tangle with it, you might find yourself on the receiving end of Mk-48 torpedoes, not to mention Trident missiles. The sub contains around 8 nuclear warheads with a range of 7,408 kilometers. Its reactor core has to be reloaded every 9 years, and to operate the vessel for a year costs a staggering $50 million. Not only are these vessels extremely deadly, they're also incredibly expensive. Submarines are one of the most distinctive parts of a nation's naval defense, and we hope this rundown has given you an idea of the bravery and hard work involved in making them. If you liked the video, then click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we release a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.